Okay, speak really quick into the mic.
Talking to the mic. That was my snap. Could you hear my snap?
I could, yeah.
It's to sync it with the video.
Was it?
So it's like the video's in their mind eye.
In their mind's
And
eye.
so now it's sunked up.
It's sunked?
It's sunked.
You sunked it?
We sunked it together.
She done sunked it, everybody. Keep talking for a second.
Yeah, so I'm planning on making snacks for her on Monday. Packing a little pouch. Here, have fun on your Pokemon adventure. That's my dream. My dream is to be Ash's mom.
Here's a map. Here's some shoes. Go. Here's
you can get a bike.
Here's where you can buy a bike in the next city.
Have fun walking. Bye-bye.
Don't catch any of those Pokemon that look like grown men. How about that? Don't do any of that.
Yeah.
Welcome to Sibling Scribbles.
My name is Marin.
My name is Johnny. This is the Sibling Podcast about creatively processing our feelings.
No, it's not.
It's not. We're keeping those way down there.
Compact.
It's for traveling.
Yeah.
It's for travel feeling.
Travel size emotional damage. It's convenient. It's like in a tiny lunchbox.
Yeah, a little plastic package.
Like a little bento box.
Right, it's right next to my passport.
Bento box of doom. Today, since last time we recorded, or 2 times ago we recorded, we talked about moms. The opposite of a mom is a man. So today we're going to talk about men.
Just men in general.
I was really hoping you were going to jump in there and say something witty, but...
I was thinking about it. I was trying to figure something out. All I could think of when you said the opposite of a mom, all I could think of was Dolores Umbridge. Is the only...
True.
The only thought that I had.
True.
I was like, huh, what an evil monster.
Gosh, she's so awful.
She's worse than Voldemort. I stand by it.
Everyone believes it.
Yeah. I would shoot Umbridge in the woods before I shot Voldemort in the woods.
Yeah, I'd be like, well, he had childhood trauma.
Right, no, I get it. Right, I get it. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you became Hitler, but like I would too.
I know,
if I went through that.
Doofenshmirtz, like, a lot of damage. He does not have a bento box worth.
Doofenshmirtz is working through a lot.
Yeah.
Doofenshmirtz is actually like the perfect example of a good dad. Like
Yeah.
actually, he might be like the worst evil scientist in the world, but he is a fantastic dad.
I read this thing on Pinterest because that's that's where I get my hot memes. And there was one, and it was this huge paragraph, and it was like, Doofenshmirtz never has an evil backstory where his ex-wife is the cause of something. Where it's like he has a really good relationship with his ex-wife, and he's bleeding her dry for alimony checks, but but he like doesn't blame her for anything.
It's true. I saw something where it talked about how everyone missed his birthdays, and so he celebrates Vanessa's birthday.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Yeah, he celebrates her birthday every year, and
even though she doesn't like it.
Yeah. Because to him, right, he's like, everyone should have an amazing birthday.
So wholesome. Anyways, we're not talking about bad dads, because like a good mom versus a bad dad. We're not talking about bad dads.
No.
But we are talking about the lack of masculinity in stories nowadays.
Yes.
I just watched Strange World.
Oh, man.
Whoops.
We've started. So Haley
I was
and
gonna go in it with like a. We should look at it with smarts.
Right, a critical eye.
Thank you.
Smarts. For those listening, which is everyone, because we forgot to rent the camera this week, Marin said smarts while adjusting fake imaginary glasses on her face. As her older brother, I need to shame her about that.
My glasses just glared in the sun. Let the record show.
Let the record show. Your Honor, my glasses just glared in the sun.
The lady on the side.
The stenographer.
Yeah.
So the Haley and I started hate watching a while ago. Hate watching is a great way to watch movies, actually. Watching a movie on purpose, knowing that you're not going to like it, is a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. We did that with Rebel Moon. Rebel Moon is a fantastic hate watch. It is just, it's a Zack Snyder's, it's honestly not, it's not even worth bringing up. It's so bad. But we started watching all these movies that Disney did that flopped. We were like, why did all these movies flop? And so we watched like Lightyear and
I have to work up to that one.
That one.
I watched the first 10 minutes and I was so angry. I had to like take a break.
It's I'll be honest, that was probably the right choice.
I have to work up to it.
It's rough. The thing is that these movies aren't like horrible. They're not so bad that they're not entertaining. They're just barely not good enough. You know? They just barely don't reach their potential. And so we watched Strange Worlds, and Haley was like, the first like 10 minutes are actually kind of awesome, right? It's like the comic book opening, and they're traversing this impossible land, and the dad and his son, or I guess the grandpa and the dad, are like out there, and they're like gonna go explore and find the edge of the world or whatever. And for a minute, we were like, this is sick. This is like a classic, like old school adventure movie. I am so about that, you know? And then it wasn't that.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend Sarah because she was helping me with my sewing project. That sewing machine's hers. And we were cutting out like 96 rectangles out of cloth, right? It was terrible. And so she was really sweet and was helping me, and we had Strange World on, and I had to pause it at the point where the dad and the dad are talking.
Do you mean the dad and the grandpa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The dad and his dad are talking, which actually, yeah, grandpa. The grandpa and the father.
Yeah.
And I had to pause it, and I was like, the father character is the main character, right? He is. The show, the farmer guy. And he is not masculine at all. Like, at all. I'm like, he's a smart person, but it's like, he has done nothing to show that he is a man besides marry a woman. And even lesbians do that. So,
right. Like, some women are more men than he is.
Yeah. And I'm like, and it's cool and it's fine. He's flamboyant and fun. He's a fun dad. But I'm like, he lays down no ground rules for his son. They treat him like an equal, which is bad parenting, actually.
Yeah.
And
well, when you treat someone like our parents treated us like equals in some ways.
Yeah, but
not always.
Yeah, we were still their kids.
Right.
We were kids.
We were still just dumb. We were still dumb kids, right? And so you don't get to treat someone like an equal if they can't act like an equal, right? So when this kid would do things, and the dad would let his own kid steamroll him. And it's like, no. Your kid is still a kid. Like, you're allowed to let him do things and treat him like an equal sometimes, but you don't get to let him, like this child who grew up on a farm, in any way make any decision about this expedition.
Yeah, there's one point where he jumps off the ship and he starts walking on the path of the flying things.
Holy crap.
And then he jumps after the sun, and then the sun jumps onto a new stream. And I was like, holy crap, you're a child!
Someone get your kid!
I was actually like, a huge principle in animation is action-reaction. So when you're drawing things, you need to make sure that the reaction hits the level that you want the audience to feel.
Right.
The action reaction in that movie was not was not one that like he should have as a father, and two was he just was not pulling his own weight ever.
No, he was actually kind of useless on most of the adventure.
Yeah, at the very end, he goes to the giant plant thing, and he has his shovel, and he's like, I'm like, you're gonna cut through this giant root with your little shovel. That's cute. And then the grandpa shows up, and he's like, I'll help you. And then they like make a tiny hole, and then that's how they defeat it. I'm like,
yeah.
What? How do you know how to do that?
It's
The problem that I had with it was that the women were strong and they were cool. And good, strong women are awesome. But strong women don't marry weak men.
I have an example.
Wait, let me finish my thought.
Go ahead.
And then the grandpa was very masculine, and all of the traits that he had were shown as toxic.
Right.
And that was actually not fair to him.
It wasn't, because there were things that he did that other characters did in equal measure, and they were not reprimanded for their actions, right?
Right.
I think a really good example is the ship captain, right? The ship captain is like butch even, right? She's
given the mom lesbian lady eyes the entire movie. Like, it is
was she really
uncomfortable amounts of like her staring at her. I'm like, I'm like, what?
Her kid is right there.
It's like, and her husband, and his father.
It's, but she does do that captain does do a lot of stuff that is, or even the mom does a lot of stuff that is impulsive and dangerous and exciting and all those things. But
if the grandpa does it, he's a bad dad.
Dad, you never pay attention to me when we were a kid.
It's because you were too masculine.
So I Googled masculinity. Masculinity is what is traditionally assigned to men.
Right.
Right. So masculinity is, as a concept, is rooted in tradition. Period.
Interesting. I haven't thought about it that way.
Right. Like, just definition wise, it is a concept that is entirely connected to tradition. That said, there's a lot of good traditions, right? Traditions exist for a reason. It's not because, it's just the thing we did, right? It's it's because some things worked. Some things really, really worked. And you and I are rather traditional, right? We're traditional people. We have traditional values. But
we're old fuddy-duddies.
We are.
Me at the ripe old age of 21.
But we also, I also believe really strongly in progress. I really do think that progress in a lot of ways is like important.
Right.
I do think that there are a lot of bad traditions, and I think that it's good if we make new traditions, good ones that are better than the old ones. But the way you do that isn't by getting rid of all traditions, right? And so I'm dancing so hard around so many things right now. What I'm getting at is that right now this is in everything. This is in everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just in Strange World. If you watch a lot of these newer movies, especially by Disney, they don't give men opportunities to fulfill traditional roles.
Ever.
And
the thing is, they're not even good role models, really. Because
no,
they're
not.
Follow your passion. I'm like, that's a nice idea. There's a lot of weird passions out there, though.
Yes, there are. We're talking about Wish again. This is a fault to the Wish episode.
Yeah.
Good grief.
It's like your wishes aren't always what you should follow.
It's a core concept in writing.
Yeah.
Is that there's a difference between your wants and your needs. Right?
Yes.
There's a massive difference between your wants and your needs. In writing, when you design a character, you give them a need, and that's something that they cannot fulfill because of a mental block, right? I want to connect with my dad, but I can't because I'm too proud to admit that my dad was right.
Right.
So that is a need, right? They have a need to do that. But what they want to do is go on a grand adventure, right? They want to achieve this goal. But when they get to the end of the story, they have to make a choice between their want and their need. Right? That's what that is the emotional arc. That is currently how stories are told. Right? Is that a character is
well, it's just human nature that we act not always according to how we feel.
Right. In fact, I'd go ahead and say that acting in contradiction to our desires and to how we feel
A lot of the time.
yeah I mean, that's just good storytelling. That's just good storytelling.
Right. To have, a tragic character is that they want something so badly, but they never go after it. Like the one with the short guy. Who's
Napoleon?
no, he is a little person and he messed up Snow White.
What on earth are you saying?
Oh my gosh.
Rumpelstiltskin?
No. Okay. The story is he's in love with this girl, but she's in love with a soldier, and he writes her letters.
Holy crap, Cyrano de Bergerac.
Yes.
The little guy?
I don't know what I'm supposed to
Marin.
say. They have banned all words. They have.
Okay. Cyrano. Yes, Cyrano is a perfect example of that. Look, this is just character writing. And so you get to things like Strange Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're not giving, I'll kind of pivot back to what you were saying before. They're not giving men masculine roles. They're not giving them, or what I said before. These characters are, in fact, they're giving the masculine roles to women now. Many times the cool fighter soldier character is a lady, right? Like that happens a lot, actually. Like that's not so subversive anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Even in Wish, the only people who do fulfill traditional male roles are vilified for the things that they do. I don't know if is that the right word, vilified? I think it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And so like, the one guy who wants to be a soldier and protect his friends, that's actually evil because someone will tell you to hurt your friends. And the patriarchal figure of the story
turns evil.
turns evil. And I guess the grandpa sits there.
He just wants to inspire people. I'm like, you're an old guy.
He wants to play music.
You could have.
Man, you could have done that anytime.
Anytime. Over your 100 years. Goodness sakes. Yeah, it's just frustrating. Because I'm not saying that every single man needs to be this Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right.
We don't need macho in every single role.
Right.
But it's like, because not every man is not like this super macho guy.
No, I'm not macho at all. I'm not particularly like traditionally masculine in a lot of my like actions and hobbies.
But you are masculine still.
Yeah, but I'm still masculine, right? I still fulfill masculine roles in my family and in my hobbies and in my personal life. I fulfill masculine roles.
And people aren't doing that in writing anymore. For films in particular.
Yes. Especially in film right now. Isaac pointed this out to me a long time ago. Our oldest brother, Isaac, wise beyond his years.
At this point, if he was wise beyond his years, he'd be like 86.
He's old.
Old guy.
Old guy. He said to me, we watched Mad Max Fury Road. And
yes.
Have you seen that?
No.
Okay. The movie is fantastic.
I know all the pop culture references from it.
Right.
But I don't know. I haven't seen the actual film.
Such a good movie. Absolutely loved it.
Cool.
Super fun. The main character is Mad Max, right? It's Tom Hardy playing Mad Max.
Tom Hardy plays
Mad Max.
No.
Oh. I just said it, Marin.
What else is he in?
He's Bane.
Okay,
He's yeah.
It's not Christian Bale.
He's a fun.
He's Christopher Nolan's bestie.
Yeah. He's one of his besties.
Yeah, he's in all of the films.
I love the bit that we did where he's like, oh, like, let's see if Tom's available for the movie. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tom, I have a new film idea.
And he's like, guys.
Hey, Chris.
Chris, what are you doing? I'm filming Mad Max right now. I'm so mad at you.
You're so bad. What are we gonna do? So you're gonna be like on a beach, and well, everyone else is gonna be on the beach, but you're gonna be like flying a plane. Oh my gosh!
Chris, you know I love beaches.
Can I be the beach roll? No, I need you to be the air pilot.
I have Cillian Murphy as the beach.
Oh, that is so smart.
I like it.
He's on the other line. One second.
Hey, Cillian.
Hey, Chris. We're gonna make Dunkirk.
Okay.
That was way too long of a bit.
That bit lasted so long. Tom Hardy, Mad Max.
Yes.
In Mad Max, the movie ends, and I was like, that was really good. And he was like, did you notice that it was actually about the death of masculinity? And I was like, I'm sorry, Isaac, what?
That was a hard pivot.
Yeah. It's actually, I feel like that captures the whiplash of an Isaac conversation.
Yeah, that's fair, actually.
But he was like, the whole story is about Mad Max, and it's about Immortal Joe, and they have all these men in powerful roles.
Mm-hmm.
And then Furiosa and a group of virtuous women all gather together, and then some old women that they find out in the wastes. They're all women in this super cool like liberator revolutionary roles. And then Mad Max walks away into the sunset, turns back and looks at Furiosa and nods, going, yeah, now she's in charge. And he walks away. And I was like, I feel like you're reaching, Isaac. but he wasn't wrong. Like, actually, movies are moving in that direction a lot, where women are now, I mean, you look at the Marvel. Marvel's a perfect example of this, where they keep saying like, oh, we're going to have the Avengers be like a 50-50 split in gender. And,
right.
And everyone's like, oh, right. Well, your fan base is an 80-20 split. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
It's not that I don't like seeing pretty women on screen. It's not that I don't like seeing strong women on screen. I friggin' love Miyazaki stuff, right?
Oh my gosh. And they're like little girls.
Yeah.
And they are strong female role models.
Nausicaa and Mononoke and flipping...
Even Kiki.
Yeah. Even, what's her name from Porco Rosso?
Oh, shoot. All I can think of are other names.
This is your favorite movie, Marin. How do you not know every one of their names? I'm gonna keep going.
Theo is not the main girl, but she's also a strong.
Yes, there are lots of strong women in these stories, and Gina. I absolutely love all of these strong women in these stories.
I'm thinking Anya. I'm like, that's not it.
That's not it. Anya's from Spy Family.
Yeah, I know. Strong female role.
Well, I think that's actually a really good point. Is that these movies put women in these powerful positions, in these strong positions, and by doing so, they end up actually denying the power of femininity. They actually end up
not in these movies.
Not in these movies.
The ones we just
the one we were talking about. Yeah.
In modern stuff that's happening right now.
Right. Furiosa is a strong female character, but she's not a strong feminine character. When you have characters like this, you're saying to women that what makes anyone strong is actually traditionally masculine behavior.
Right.
Fighting and pushing people out of the way. And like, it's all the toxic masculine behavior. It's never like, it's never like leadership, right?
Right. That's the thing. Like, one of the reasons I love Gina so much is because
Gina from Porco Rosso.
Is that she is very feminine, but
Yes.
she also like uses, I'm not saying like she like sexually uses her, her
Her
skills,
feminine wiles.
right, to like get what she wants, because that's kind of toxic actually, but
Yeah.
she uses her leadership and the friendship and the nurturing relationships that she has, because that's something that's more feminine, is to focus
Yes.
on relationships.
Cultivation.
Right. And she uses that to bring people together.
So here we are talking about men, and we've talked about some great women.
Oh my gosh, so good.
This is actually, I think you make an incredible point, is that, isn't it a bit weird that the dad in Strange Worlds decides to be a farmer and is a cultivating spirit? They've given him traditionally feminine roles in the story. I'm not saying that, like, farmers are masculine. I've lived in the Midwest. I've lived in the South. There's some men out there.
We have an uncle who is a potato farmer.
Yes, sir.
Not a potato farmer like he has a patch out back. Like,
No.
he supplies all of the potatoes for Lay's potato chips in Texas.
Right. He is Mr. Potato.
Yes, Mr. Potato Head himself is our uncle.
That's rude because he's bald. That's rude.
But he is not the farmer from Strange World.
No, he is a strong masculine character. Like, he might be the most masculine man in the whole family.
He's like a man's man. Like, he owns one kind of shirt and like 20 of them, and he has like one pair of boots, and he's got like 5 pairs of them. Like,
I've had like one conversation with him, like a full conversation with him, and it was because I woke up early enough during a family reunion. He was like, "There's a whole world out here before 8 a.m., right? Before the sun rises, there's like a whole world that no one else gets to experience." And then like the rest of the family reunion, he was dead silent, and I was like, I just, like, he gets all of his words out before the sun comes up, and then like, that's a man.
yeah, he's like that one. He's like when you're playing like a video game, and if you go to a certain place at a certain time, one of the characters will be there.
Yes.
And you like go and talk to them, and he like has this really deep thing to say.
And you're like, gosh dang.
And then like the rest of the time, he's like cleaning cups.
Yeah.
Like in the back of the bar, you know?
He's Sans from Undertale, is that what we're saying? But it's, look, traditional femininity and traditional masculinity have their virtues, have real virtues. Men, the reason that men have been like assertive and they're the ones who say, hey,
They lay down the law.
They lay down the law. They is because they had a reason to. See, look, I can't dive around this anymore. It's religion, okay? At its core,
Right.
At its core, religion in its purest, goodest form, in its real form, is the best thing for society, and I believe that completely. I believe that just truly, truly, truly. When you see people acting in their acting as their religion dictates,
Right.
it's good for them and it's good for society. It's fulfilling and it's wonderful. And as we've removed religion from society, and as we've removed, because religion is where these traditional values come from. I mean, the traditional values didn't come from an antelope during if it is just, and someone was like, hey, antelopes do that thing, I'll do that thing. It doesn't come from that. It comes from...
Like, Western civilization isn't based around those things. It's based around religion and the cultures around that.
Right. And so when people have tried to get rid of religion, especially in storytelling, because they are concerned that leaning into religious iconography and themes will drive away people from the product, because they want to appeal to the majority of people, they have to remove religion from the story. And by removing religion from the story, they actually remove the basic tenets of our society.
Yeah.
And it's unsatisfying.
Even if you are unreligious or you don't believe in God, you live in a society that does, and you benefit from a society that does.
Yeah, deeply. And so, of course, if you want to destroy that, if you do want to destroy that, you have to build something better. You have to make something better. And right now, we don't do that. right? Instead, we kind of have just said, let's push all the men aside. We don't need men. We don't like men.
Right.
And we are instead going to give all of the traditionally, like what everyone considers traditionally masculine roles to women without actually acknowledging what made the men so great in the first place.
Yeah.
Be-
Yeah. There's a thing, Thompson took a child development class for his major at some point, right? And or psychology or for families and children, something like that. And one day he came home and he was telling me about what he learned, that you should never show your kids Disney Channel shows and
Whoa.
Nickelodeon shows, like live, like, like Sweet Life
Yeah,
of Zack
yeah,
and
yeah.
Cody.
Why?
You should never show any of those because they show wrong roles for family. The father is
Holy crap.
always playing a child.
Yeah.
He's this goofy, he doesn't have a job. He, just,
I'm thinking of Sweet
makes
Life of Zack and
mistakes.
Cody right
he
now.
never disciplines the children. He's just kind of this goofball who is around.
This is why Wizards of Waverly Place was the best. That dad laid down the law. Magical law. Fairy law.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
And so it's like, you shouldn't show your children that is how their father should be, because that makes you that's a weak man.
This is getting really messy really fast.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the mess has been made. Because in like Korea, there's the 4B movement, I think it's what it's called.
Okay.
Where there are a lot of women who are just saying, we don't need men, we don't talk to men, we don't do anything about men. They are moving.
Whoa.
Yeah, they don't want anything to do with men. They don't like nothing at all. It's a massive movement because there's all these business women, all these women who have been brought into the workforce, right?
That's like one step ahead of America right now.
It is. America's fighting back. There's a lot of people in America who are saying like, no.
Try it.
No. A lot of America is saying, no, if you do the bad thing that previous generations did to previous generations, but you're doing it to someone different, you are just as bad as previous generations.
Yeah.
Right? That fight is happening right now. A lot of people are saying, no, women have plenty of power and men have plenty of power, but it's different kinds of power.
Yes.
And it's like what we said earlier, like toxic behavior exists in both both men and women.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
But it's shown in different ways, right? Men, when they're toxic, are aggressive, and women, when they're toxic, are manipulative, right? And men can be manipulative, and women can be aggressive, but it doesn't work with with women, because if you're going to be aggressive as a woman, you're going to get a man will hit you, right? A man can hit you.
I mean, I am more afraid of an aggressive man than I am an aggressive woman. And I'm more afraid of a manipulative woman than I am of a manipulative man. Because I know that women are good at it. And I know that men are good at it.
See, but I want to be really careful here, because I do think that men can be deeply manipulative. I've met deeply manipulative men.
Yeah, but if they were a woman, that's all I'm thinking, I grew up in high school, with girls around me, and they are jerks. And the guys around are all just I don't know. Men can be I'm going to counter this. We're running over time here, but I want to finish this point. I have met men who are deeply manipulative. I've known men who are deeply manipulative. We talked about one earlier over breakfast. Yeah.
Yes, we've talked about one over breakfast, and I've lived. I believe him to be a narcissist in my entire life. Right, I truly believed he was a narcissist, and he was a deeply manipulative person.
Yeah.
There are plenty of women who are very abusive, right? Who are physically abusive.
That's true.
That is because they believe that they can be protected by the law, right? They believe that if a woman gets in a fight, that they will be favored by the law.
Yeah, which they are more likely to be.
It just statistically.
Yeah.
Just statistically they are. I'm saying that all of that behavior, whether or not you're manipulative or physically aggressive, I believe that all of that behavior is toxic. And some people decide to go down a traditional route in their toxicity, and others decide to be a little bit more PC in how toxic they are.
Yeah, that's fair.
That said, though, those things actually reinforce stereotypes, I believe. I believe it reinforces the rule instead of I believe exceptions reinforce rules. And so you have coming back to Strange Worlds, you have
It's Strange World.
Strange World. Oh,
Yeah.
of course, because it's just one. Because they're never making another. You have the grandpa who they consider to be toxic because he's actually, I don't know, why do they consider him toxic again? What about him made him toxic?
Because he prioritized getting over the mountain over his relationship with his son.
Okay. Well, yeah. That's not great. But I'd go ahead and say that.
But lots of people do that with lots of different things besides adventuring. You know, there's plenty of accountant dads out there that put aside their children's relationships. Like
I'm gonna go ahead and say that maybe even the farmer dad a little bit isn't super like.
Well, they show that he is exactly like his father because he does the same thing to his kid. But at least his dad was cool.
I think that the issue becomes that they don't actually do they actually, they don't say that like the things the grandpa doing are actually cool, right? They still at the end of the story, they, even while they are similar, right, even they're still similar in their ways, they never at any point make the masculine behavior, the traditionally masculine behavior of the grandpa, like a cool thing.
Yeah, it's always the farmer. Maybe I'm wrong, but like it's typically the father, the farmer guy, doing something that proves that his thing is cool.
Right.
And then the father will be like, "Yeah, that's the Clade way," and
right. That's kind of the point. It's kind of the whole point that we're getting at.
Right.
Is that tradition is, people don't know what to do with tradition.
Yeah.
People don't know what to do with it. You look at a movie like Enchanted, right? Enchanted does have the princess save the prince at the end of the movie, right? She does slay the dragon,
right?
Or Éowyn in Lord of the Rings.
I sent this meme to Sam, but it's the no man can kill me, and then she takes off the helmet and it's Miss Piggy, and she goes, "Moi is no man," and then she cuts the head off and goes, "Hiya!" Continue.
Tradition and gosh dang it, we're going around in circles. We're going around in circles a little bit because once again, traditional values are under attack. They're under, like, no. People are experimenting with them right now. They're trying to figure out what made traditional values work and if they can move on and do something new. And we're kind of learning that we can't. We're kind of learning right now that people don't like the changes. People are happier, like, in traditional roles. Haley and I have talked about this a lot. Even if we don't, even if I can support us both on one income, she still wants to find some way to work and contribute to the family financially, because she's like, I feel like, I'd love to be a stay-at-home mom, and that sounds amazing, but I want to find some way to participate.
Right.
And I'm like, that's cool. I don't see an issue with that. And I want to be a part of raising the kids, right? Absolutely. Yeah. That doesn't make me feminine and her masculine. That means that we both want to help each other out with the roles that we serve in.
Right.
And I don't know. I feel like I'm going in circles. Then
in that case, I want to bring up the next kind of thing that I wanted to talk about. So I'm reading this series right now called Three Dark Crowns. That's what it's called. And it's a pretty cool series. I suggested it to Haley, and she's reading it right now.
She really likes it.
It's a fun series to read. And my friend suggested it to me and on a cruise ship. And so I'm like, I'll take the book with me and I'll read it. And I had a good time. So I got the other 2 books on Kindle. And then I realized there's a 4th one, so I still have to do that one before the end of so I can finish the series. But the entire series is kind of based around the fact that women are the ones in power. And it's cool. It's really cool to see all of these different personalities and all of these women doing these things. But I actually think it takes away from the story that there are no men in power. It is
really
only a woman's story. And even like there isn't even a god. It's a religion, this kind of religion.
Sure, but there's like a goddess.
It's a goddess. And the goddess is the one who bestows all of these powers. And it's the descendants of queens. And the queens are the ones. And they marry a king, but he's never called the king. He's always called the king consort.
Okay.
And there's one cool guy named Billy. And
Yay! Haley told me about Billy.
And I love Billy. Because Billy is like a normal guy. And all of the other male characters kind of suck. They kind of do.
I'm thinking about the song Billy from Adventure Time. Billy.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, sick. Okay, I'm on board. But you feel that I'm kind of trying to understand what you're saying here. That maybe because when femininity is in a vacuum, it actually does femininity a disservice.
Yes, because all of these women, no one is playing a feminine role now.
Right. Because there is no masculine to compare the feminine to. There's not really anything feminine about what they do.
No. And so they're all women and they'll be like, and she was so beautiful. And she wore a dress. And it's like, yeah, but...
See, that's actually kind of interesting because if... I understand, like, I know this sounds like, the silly man talk, but if there's no men to impress, right, and you're only wearing the beautiful things for yourself and to one-up other women, right, doesn't that kind of doesn't that take away one of the many reasons that looking beautiful is valuable, right? Doesn't that kind of, like, remove that from the equation? Like
no, John, you can't say that. You can't say that.
Like, I feel like removing the sexual appeal of a character, like, yeah, look, I'm sexual appeal exists, and I think that in little, just little bursts, right? It's like MSG. Okay, you don't want to drown your food in MSG. Just give it a little dusting of MSG.
Right.
It's still important and still a part of the human experience, and it's still a part of stories. I feel like removing that aspect of it, right? Because everyone's a girl boss now. I mean, I feel like that kind of removes a layer of depth from this whole thing.
Right. Actually, there is one other guy in this. His name is Peter. And
I've heard of Peter.
He's a little bit skeezy because he's on the bad,
right,
air quotes, bad side, right? But he's actually doing stuff to try and save Catherine, the poisoner girl.
Okay.
And he's actively going out and trying to protect her and take care of her and do these different things. And it's like, you can't hate him because he's on the bad side and he's kind of skeezy sometimes because he's doing noble masculine things and trying to protect the woman he loves.
Right.
And then Billy does the same thing for Arsinoe. So it's like when men do masculine things, we have a hard time as people going against them,
Yeah. I kind of agree, actually. I think that it's look, I mean, men are stronger, right? That our bones are thicker, our muscles grow faster, we're taller,
Biologically,
just physically, biologically. If we want to boil down all of our traditional values and thoughts down to a single idea, I mean, we even are more aggressive, right? Physiologically, like mentally, chemically, we are
big time.
like more aggressive, and we are more competitive, and
Right.
these things like kind of give us a natural edge at doing certain things, right? They make us good at manual labor. They make us good at fighting.
Right.
And so when you see someone using the gifts they've been given, right? You could like the same thing with like talents, right? If someone is talented and they've been gifted the ability to play the violin perfectly, right? And they use those gifts for a higher purpose. If they use that gift for someone else, that's like beautiful. That's amazing.
Right.
Oh. And that's why we don't like Marvel chicks. Because Marvel chicks aren't doing it to save people. Marvel chicks are doing it for themselves.
Oh, to have women in power.
Right. It's about the power that they hold, not the power they use for others. It's the power they hold. Spider-Man has great responsibility that comes with his great power. He rescues people. He saves them. She-Hulk doesn't save people. She-Hulk gets in fistfights.
And then she wants to get laid.
About her own pride. Yeah. And she uses her powers for the sexual conquest. Like the opposite of Gina, right? Gina has incredible power in Porco Rosso. She is a nurturing, happy, lovely woman who, while all these men know they don't have a chance with her, being around her makes them feel safe and happy. And she uses her gifts and uses her bar.
She's not a pushover.
She's not a push. Absolutely
and
not.
She, and she's fun and she's feisty.
Yeah, but she uses all of her resources to protect and to uplift and to cultivate
the community.
Especially Porco Rosso. Right. And that is why we love Spider-Man, and that is why we love Studio Ghibli, and it's why we can't really hate a dude for using their God-given or evolution-given, whatever you want to say, their gifts for the greater good or just for someone else.
Right.
That's women have the gift of being able to bear children. Women have physiological advantages in raising children.
Right.
They have empathy, and they have other defensive mechanisms that men do not. And so when we see a woman using those things for the good of other people, it doesn't have to be kids. When we see them using those things, like Dolly from Hello Dolly, she uses her feminine skills to uplift and to grow the world around her, to cultivate the world around her.
Yep.
Like that's a woman. That's a woman. And
you don't have to be like docile and wear cottagecore dresses and bake homemade bread to be a woman.
Right.
And to have strong femininity.
And I guess in that regard then, Strange World does have the grandpa who is using his masculine abilities for selfish reasons. Yeah. Right? That is wrong of him. That is wrong of him to do, even if it is really effing cool. But those selfish reasons do stem from his desire to improve the world, right? He does want things to be better for...
He wants to leave a legacy. He wants to...
Right.
Yeah.
He wants he wants to do something that is going to improve the lives of everyone else.
Right.
Right? Even if it is primarily selfish, he does want to do something for everyone. And his son, the farmer dad, is cultivating and helping the world grow using electricity balls or whatever they are, like little
great balls of fire.
Great balls of fire. They are using those, right? They are doing those. But because we don't see him using his physical gifts as a man, we actually seem to be a bit disappointed in who he is as a character, right?
Right. And his impacts on the rest of the story.
Right.
Especially his own son.
Yeah, he doesn't want his own son to do traditionally masculine things because of his dad,
Yeah.
and by doing so, actually, like, he actually kind of removes his son's ability to bring good into the world.
Mm-hmm.
He's also just as selfish as his dad. There's no heroes in this story. I hate everybody. I don't like any of them.
They have a dog.
Love the dog.
Good job. Dog out of dog.
And they played that one electro swing song that I really liked for like 5 minutes.
Oh, they were like dancing in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I was watching that part and I was like, this is cool, but I don't think I've ever met a man who would do this.
We clearly have some internalized patriarchy.
I'm into it.
You're
I like a little patriarchy with my potatoes. I don't know.
We've gone so far over time.
Oh yes, time to wrap this sucker up.
We've talked about this a lot. We've talked about men. We've talked about women. This is clearly something that
I think we ended up talking more about women this episode than men, but the contrast of it should kind of help people, I guess, to understand how we think about men.
Right. I think as well, what I mean to say is I don't know if there's much more we can say about this, right? We believe pretty strongly that Mr. Darcy is a good man for using his God-given wealth, or whatever, however you want to say it, to benefit the world around him, right? That is traditionally masculine good man, right? We love that. And Dolly Parton, not the Dolly Parton, Dolly.
Dolly Parton?
Hello, Dolly. Sorry.
The Dolly Parton, like the Dolly.
The Dolly Llama.
The Dolly Parton.
Okay, my name is Johnny.
And I am Marin.
You can check us out on all of our social media, and you can read our webcomic on Shepherd Called Bale. Stop laughing. Thank you so much for listening. We hope that we didn't scare you away with any of this. We promise that we're not normally this trad based.
I am.
Marin is.
Love a good trad day. Thank you so much for listening. Stay creative.
Bye.